Here's Kyle Shanahan from yesterday on the question of whether they would be inclined to add a high-profile veteran. Remember, this is the same day that we learned that Tom Brady had retired for good from the NFL. Here's what Shanahan had to say.
And are you content enough with Brock and Lance being the top two guys going into training camp, or would you be looking for a high-profile veteran?
No, we're content enough. I know we have 2 starters on our team right now that I believe we can win with. So when you have that situation, you're not that eager to go looking around. The good thing about Brock is that wasn't an issue. It was a freak accident that I think everyone saw what happened. And when you talk to the doctors, it takes 3 months to really get back to repairing it and building it up the right way. And in 6 months, he'll be the same guy.
This is another example of the difference between seeing the words on the transcript and watching the delivery. I think Kyle was using, and you would know this better than me, I think he was using his best poker face, also new show on Peacock, when he answered that question. No, we're content enough. No, we're content enough. There's just something about the way he delivered it where it was kind of like, hold it together here, don't show anything. Tom Brady's not available, but maybe Aaron Rodgers is. I don't know. Or we just haven't decided yet. We haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
So until we decide, our position is we're fine with what we have.
That, to me, would be more of along the lines where maybe he's protecting or a little careful with what he says. I do believe him in the fact that he believes he's got 2 starting quarterbacks they can win with. But at the same time, I don't think a high profile is the word. Now, maybe veteran backup who's played and had experience is what I would expect more of. I don't think they're going to look to go high profile, bring that in, and again, kind of confuse this situation to where we go into the offseason where it's like, whoa, I don't know who's going to be quarterback. There's 3 quarterbacks here. Whoa, they're one of the best teams in football, and we're talking about they can't get, the most important position figured out there. And there's the teams have an answer for that. So I would think more along the lines, Mike, and I have no inside information here or anything, of just like Brock and Trey Lance, they duel it out, and you get a veteran who's played some football, but more of an insurance policy. Listen, if Trey Lance starts and he's the starter, we know he's got an injury history. Oh, man, he's the starter. Week 3, he gets hurt. Okay, now you're back to Brock Purdy, but you got to protect your team there too. And have another guy behind him when you're a Super Bowl caliber team. And I think that's also going to be something that is attractive to one of these quarterbacks who's like, hey, I'm content being the backup, and that's fine, and Purdy and Lance, and they can figure it out, and I just want to be a part of a good team, and if I get a chance and you need me, then I'll be that guy. But that would be more along the lines of what I would think they would do, Mike. I don't know. You agree with that, or you think they will go more high profile?
Or just somebody who's out there, whether it's a veteran, whether it's a younger guy, whether just somebody to add to that room, somebody to be that insurance policy in the event there are physical issues with either guy. But it's relevant because, remember, the Aaron Rodgers drama in overdrive just before the 2021 draft when the 49ers made a call to the Packers about Aaron Rodgers. The 49ers had all that draft capital. Well, they didn't have the draft capital. They gave up the draft capital to get the 3rd overall pick. And as they're figuring out what to do with the 3rd overall pick, one of the options off the board was, let's just go get Aaron Rodgers. And maybe, I don't know if they would have given up the 3rd overall pick to get Aaron Rodgers, but they would have gotten more from Aaron Rodgers the last 2 years than they got from the 3rd overall pick, frankly. Not that it's a Trey Lance issue. They added even more pressure to Trey Lance by making him the 3rd overall pick. But Rodgers was in play 2 years ago. And it would be intriguing to see, as the wheels turn behind the scenes as it relates to Aaron Rodgers. And we didn't even talk about this yesterday. Rodgers had the comment from McAfee show on Tuesday that, the Packers are talking to other teams without him being involved. And he finds that interesting. So, I can't rule out anything for any player or any team. Yesterday was a reminder of anything can and will happen at any time when you least expect it. So I just think they just want time. They want to see what's up with Trey Lance. They want to see what the final analysis is on Brock Purdy's situation. Does he need surgery? Is he out 9 months? Is it 6 months? Is it less? Is it more? Is it whatever? But that all goes into the vat. And this is a team that has the luxury of being damn good,
yes,
even without a franchise quarterback.
Right. That's where they are. They're special that way. And yeah, I don't get the sense that they're going to be in the market for an Aaron Rodgers or anything of that. Again, I think not only is that an issue, maybe a distraction, and the thing I would worry about too is kind of what you're talking about. They're a really good team that's set up, and just do you want to go through this again next offseason with Rodgers? Is he going to come back and play with us? Is he going to do that? At some point, they got to just go with one of these young guys and make it work. And that's where I kind of just think, hey, we saw Brock Purdy can lead them to the Super Bowl. He can do that. So they got the quarterbacks on the roster that they believe they can win with. Now it's just about, I think, protecting themselves more. That's where, again, I'm just throwing names out there right now. But, a Blaine Gabbert, somebody like that, that's who I would look at. Yeah, he might have to be the third stringer, but he's a really valuable one at that. Or just somebody, again, who's we know can run an offense, has got some talent, not going to be necessarily a threat to those guys, and those guys are going to be the ones that duel it out to start. But like we said, in case crap happens, here we got this guy to protect ourselves, and I would think that would be more the approach. And I think you got to do that with Trey Lance, especially because he can go down in a snap of the finger.
Here's one for you.
Yeah.
And I'll periodically check my email. I want to see what people may be complaining about as it relates to things we've said or throwing out some ideas. I took a quick look at the email while you were talking, and somebody has suggested a certain Gardner Minshew as an option for that offense. What do you think of that?
Well, he would work. He might be too good and want to play and compete and try to take over the team, though. That's where I would worry about. He's in a part of his career, he's going, well, damn, I'm better than Brock Purdy. I'm not going to sit here and be the backup to him. That's how he's going to look at it. So, he's a great name, but I think he's above that situation, in my opinion, honestly, Gardner Minshew. I think he's more of, bridge quarterback or really high-end backup that could command some money to go, wait, like where he is with the Eagles. Jalen Hurts gets hurt next year. Well, hey, pay me $5 or $6 million, and you won't fall off that much. We'll still be in the playoff race and in contention with me at quarterback. I don't know. I think he's above that. You agree with that or no?
Well, he had his chance this year, and it was a mixed bag, to say the least, while Jalen Hurts was injured. He had good moments. He had bad moments. I don't know what it sets him up for.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of veteran quarterbacks available, one fewer than we thought with Brady out of the mix. But there's a lot of guys that are going to be flooding the market. And the quarterback carousel, the game of musical chairs, it's going to spin. It's going to work like never before.
There's a lot of options.
There are going to be guys who are left holding the bag, players who are left holding the bag when it's all said and done, and or teams that are looking around saying, God, we blew our chance. And there may be some kind of forced marriages that happen where we get a week into the process and a team didn't get this guy that it wanted, and there's a guy still floating around. It's like, well, we better grab him while we can. There may be some of that, some moves that happen out of desperation. And also, we mentioned Garoppolo possibly to the Texans. To the extent that they are looking for a bridge guy, DeMeco Ryans, to the extent that Kyle Shanahan was candid when he was around DeMeco Ryans before we realized this guy's going to be a head coach somewhere, so I better keep some of these things to myself. What the Texans do could be a reflection of what Shanahan has said about what he thinks of some of these guys.
Sure.
And Ryans may have been taking very careful notes about what Shanahan thinks of some of these quarterbacks, and that may come out in who the Texans pursue.
Yeah,
or don't pursue.
Right. I think you're on to something there. I'll add another team to that mix that I think is going to be the Jets, right? the Jets, I know, were a team that were in the Aaron Rodgers conversation, but hey, come on. It's Robert Saleh, and there's a history there. He was the defensive coordinator when Jimmy Garoppolo led them to the Super Bowl. Will they pursue him if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, or if that doesn't come to fruition like you're kind of hearing through the NFL rumorville? So that's another one that's one to watch as far as how they feel about him. But yeah, there's some interesting conversations around, like you said. I think there's gonna be some options out there that we can't even kind of foresee as it sits right now too, where it could be interesting as far as that backup third string market, and even of course some of these starters to fill in some of these spots this year.
I've noticed a few times recently you using the term rumorville. I haven't said anything about it. Is that deliberate?
It's never deliberate. It is rumor mill, right? It's right. I know. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
But
why.
I thought like you're doing your own twist on it.
No, I really
like
wasn't.
Some of the other Sims-isms that become deliberate.
Right. No. Well, yes. This one is no. It's. I might go deliberate now that we've made a thing of it. But up to this point, it's just been dumb Chris not being able to get the English language out of his brain. So now that I've said it a few times and you've put it on there, that's where I usually start to go, I'm going to make it a thing now. Instead of saying rumor mill, it's rumorville, all right? But I haven't.
I kind of like it. I kind of like it. I just didn't know whether that was something from your podcast that I had missed, no. Reading between the tea leaves, which became a thing. And see, we've got 2 volumes now. We've got 3 volumes. We've got the True Simsisms.
Right.
We've got the Accidental Scholar.
Right.
And we've got the stuff that Chris originally screwed up, but it sounded kind of good, so
we go with it.
We made it a thing. Yeah, 3 volume set.
Thank you.
For the
I'm working on
Chris Simms collection. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.